it's me, Janette. How are you? Hope you've been well. Hope your week is off to a great start. In today's video, I am sharing the second part of the DIY Traveler's Notebook Junk Journal insert, and I will link video part one of this so that you can go back and see how I created the base of this notebook insert. So here I am finishing up that first layout that I started from the first video, and then I'm going to work on some other pages. So lots of layering happening and I'm using just different things in my stash, a lot of things that I've been hoarding, a lot of things that kind of, over time you don't love as much as when you initially bought them. So just trying to be very mindful about using all of the things in my stash as best as I can. Now in this section of my junk journal, I wasn't happy with my original placement of my little ephemera, so I ended up peeling it off and kind of rearranging it. And in retrospect, I wish I had used an adhesive that wasn't quite so strong so that this would have been a lot easier to remove. Maybe it wouldn't have damaged the little mini file folder that I had going on here, but it all worked out fine in the end. Now, a lot of the stamp die cuts that you see, like this little heart here that I'm adding to this page, I made this from stamps in my stash. And I shared this on my last live stream, which was this past Saturday. So I try to go live Saturdays at 10 a.m. UK time. And so I just showed on this last one, which I think was episode 6, I showed how I use up my scraps and my stash and my stamps to create build my stash and create these little die cuts that I can then that I can then turn around and use in my journaling, in my planners, in my card making, in all sorts. So it's just a really great way to use up scraps and use any stamps that you might have in your collection. I think when I do journaling, I don't reach for stamps really all that often. I end up doing more like collaging and using stickers and die cuts or ephemera. And so this is a great way to incorporate my stamps, use them in my journals, and then not have to worry about stamping directly onto a journal page and maybe messing it up. Don't have to worry about that with this technique of just stamping on, white cardstock or stamping on scraps and then fussy cutting those out. Or if you have the coordinating die for the stamp set, then you can die cut your stamp images. So just a great way to use up your stash and do some stamping at the same time. Now for my junk journal, I'm not leaving too much space for actual journaling because I always feel like my writing ruins my layout. Ideally, what I would love to do, and hopefully I can do this in the future, is I would love to get printable vellum and a typewriter and just journal that way, and then just kind of staple the vellum with my type journaling onto each page. Like that would be my ideal goal. Otherwise, I'm not too happy about my writing and I just feel like it ruins the whole vibe and the look and the feel of my layout, so I just kind of leave them blank. But if you are going to use your junk journal for more journally type things, then make sure to leave just a little blank space somewhere so that you can ephemera free space so that you can add your journaling, add your thoughts, maybe you do like some kind of gratitude journaling. So just be mindful of that. For me, it's more collaging really and playing with paper, layering. It's one of my favorite things to do, is just to layer, rearrange my different elements on a page. Like that's just happy times for me. Now for this page, I am kind of switching the color scheme a little bit because my base page here is, it's actually an old planner divider, and I just used it in here because I thought I might as well use it instead of it not getting used in that particular planner. So I'm letting the base page, so that green and kind of the off-white and the black and white, kind of dictate the color of the elements, the color of the ephemera that I'm going to use. So it's kind of a little bit matchy. I try not to do too use too many different colors. It's just easier for me to see a pattern paper like that base green, light mint green, and say, okay, I'm going to stick to these colors because it's just easier for me, and it's easier for me to look through my stash, and find colors that match this instead of trying to create a completely new color scheme. I hope that makes sense. I tend to play it safe with color, and it's not a bad thing. Now I wasn't feeling the white page on the left. It was just too plain for me. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing some pattern paper, some stripy pattern paper, and just gluing that down to just make it not so stark and white. And what I'm doing now is, if I flip it over, you're going to be able to see the barcode, you can see the title of the page of the paper, the pattern paper collection. And so I'm just covering it up with a scrap bit of paper, matching, just so it would just be more seamless, so that you wouldn't be able to see the name. And I think on the back of it, if I flip it over, you can see the barcode. So I'm going to be covering that up as well. Next, I'm using some beautiful white sheer ribbon, and I'm just threading that through my tag. I made sure that when I was gluing down my tag that I didn't glue it down all the way, because I knew I wanted to thread either twine or ribbon through that little tag there on that page. And I love just leaving the ends kind of long so that they peek out of the pages when the journal is closed. And I love being able to incorporate just different textures, like MDF tags, like wooden MDF shapes, or ribbon or twine or sequins. So you'll see me add that throughout. Now the next minute or two, I'm going to be adding strips of pattern paper to the edges of my layouts. Here and there you'll see me do that. So I save pretty much, I don't save every paper scrap, but if it's a decent size, especially these little itty bitty strips of pattern paper, I end up saving them. This is a great way to use them up in your layouts, is to just cut little strips of them and then just use them on the edges of your pages. And I think it almost gives it the look of washi tape, but it's a great way to use up your scraps. I was really excited to use this frame because I've had it in my stash for a really long time. I think a pen pal sent this to me, and so I was just like holding onto this frame, and I'm like, I want to use this frame, but it wasn't fitting on any of the pages kind of the right way. And so what I ended up doing was just trimming it in half and making it look like it was a massive frame, like page size frame, which I thought was really cool. So if you ever have any frames that you want to use, like consider cutting them in half or just at a weird angle so that you can extend it and give it this this kind of effect of like an elongated frame. Well, I am done thus far with my junk journal. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you'd like to see more of my crafty projects, you can follow me on Instagram at Janette Lane Vlog or subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching. Take good care, and I'll see you soon.